Good morning, class. So welcome back to a physics class again. Now in today's class we will going to continue with the chapter heat, and in this we will going to discuss the topic that is transfer of heat. So in the previous class, as we have already started with the transfer of heat, we have done the definition, and I told you there are three methods how heat energy get transferred from one place to another place. The three methods were conduction, convection and radiation. So let us start with the first method by which heat energy can be transferred from one place to another place, that is conduction. So what is conduction? Conduction is a process of transfer of heat energy in solids. So conduction is a process of transfer of heat energy basically in solids from one molecule to another without actual movement of molecule. So suppose a solid object is there, a rod is there, you can say iron rod, okay, and if I will going to heat this iron rod from one end, slowly and slowly you will find that the other end will also get heated. So over here the heat energy which was present at this end A has been transferred to this end B. So this transfer of heat energy from one end of the solid to the another end, okay, this will take place basically in solid. So the transfer of heat energy from one end of the solid to the another end without actual movement of molecules is known as conduction. But how this conduction takes place, let us talk about in detail. So as we know that in solids the molecules are very compactly packed. Suppose any solid is there, as I have taken example of the iron rod. So what happens in iron rod? The molecules are very compactly packed. That means every molecule is very closely packed with other molecule. So there is no scope for the molecule of solid to move from one place to another place. Molecules cannot shift from one place to another place, or it cannot migrate from one place to another place. Then how does this heat energy which was provided at one end get transferred to the another end? So what actually happens, suppose if you put a burner over here, okay, to heat it at this end A, the molecules over here which are present in this place, they will going to absorb the heat energy, and when these molecules will going to absorb the heat energy, the temperature of these molecules will going to rise. So what will happen, as we know that a body having high temperature means more amount of heat energy, it can transfer the heat energy to another molecule. So the molecules which become very hot, the temperature rises, these molecules will going to transfer the heat energy to the next molecule, to its neighboring molecule. And the next molecule, when it will going to gain the heat energy, it will transfer the heat energy to the third molecule. This is how the process of transferring of heat energy takes place. So actually what is happening, the molecules, they are in their place, they are not changing their position, they will remain in their place, and from their position only they are transferring the heat energy from one molecule to another molecule. So the transfer of heat energy takes place from one molecule to another without actual movement of molecule. This is a very important part of conduction, that over here no movement of molecule takes place. So without any actual movement of molecules, when molecules transfer their heat energy to its neighboring molecule, and this is how the heat energy get transferred from one end to another end slowly and slowly. This method is known as conduction. So basically the method of conduction takes place in solid, and it is also taking place only the objects which are good conductor of heat, okay, like iron, steel, copper, aluminium. So those substances, those objects which are good conductor, they are capable of transferring the heat energy from one end to another end. In that condition only the process of conduction will take place. So will the molecules will move in the case of conduction? No, the molecules will not going to move from their position. Only the transfer of heat energy takes place. So you can learn no actual movement of molecules. Okay, actually the molecules will not going to move. Only the transfer of heat energy takes place. So without any actual movement of molecules, the heat energy will going to get transferred from one end to another end, and this method is known as conduction. Now let us see a simple demonstration of transfer of heat energy by conduction. So let us see how transfer of heat energy takes place by conduction method with the help of a demonstration. So what I have done, I have first taken an iron rod, okay, metal rod, which has been kept steady with the help of a holder, and over here a burner has been used. Now with the help of wax, I have sticked some paper pins, or you can say any kind of metallic pins have been stapled over here, placed over here with the help of a wax. So some wax has been used so that these pins can be attached with this rod. Now at one end of this rod I have placed the burner, and the heat energy is being given by the burner. Now what will happen? Slowly and slowly this metal rod will become hot, and the heat energy will going to transfer from this end towards another end. That is, this is the direction of transferring of heat energy. Now after some time you will find that this paper pin will going to fall down. Then after certain period of time, again this paper pin will also going to fall down. Then the third paper pin will also going to fall down. So why these paper pins they are falling down? The reason is that earlier they were sticked with the help of a wax, isn't it? Now when the heat energy is being transferred from one molecule to another molecule, slowly and slowly this process will take place. The wax will become hot, and when the wax will become hot, it will going to melt. And when it will going to melt, the first paper pin will going to fall down. Then slowly and slowly the second paper, the wax, this heat energy will reach to the wax which is present over here in the second paper pin. It will also going to melt, and the second paper pin will also going to fall. Slowly and slowly, this is how the heat energy will going to transfer from one end to another end, and all the paper pins will going to fall down. This proves that heat energy gets transferred from one end of the metal rod or a conductor to the another end by the process of conduction. Over here the molecules are not moving, so no movement of molecule take place, only the energy will going to transfer from one end to another end. So this is about the conduction process. Now since we know the process of conduction, okay, let's see whether all objects are conductors or follow the process of conduction or not. Like suppose if I say that conduction can be followed by solids, so are all the solids will allow the heat energy to pass, or it will allow the heat energy to flow from one end to another end? The answer is no. All solid objects do not allow the heat energy to flow. So objects, that is solid objects, are divided into two broad categories. First are conductors and second are insulators. So let us see what are conductors and what are insulators. First, conductors. Substances that allow heat energy to flow through them easily. Okay, like metals. Metals generally they allow flow of heat energy very easily. So substances, that is solid objects, that allow heat energy to flow through them easily are known as conductors. But as I said, solid is a conductor. So basically different types of solids are conductors, and some solids are non-conductors also. So basically metals are conductors, or you can say good conductor of heat. And among them silver is the best conductor. Which is the best conductor? Silver is the best conductor because it can easily allow the heat energy to pass through itself. Okay, whereas insulators, substances that do not allow heat energy to flow through them easily. So those substances which do not allow heat energy to pass through them easily, they will be known as insulators. Wood, plastic. Okay, these are the examples which are known as bad conductors or insulators. So they will not allow the heat energy to pass through them easily. So these are the definitions of conductors and insulators. you have to find out different examples from your day-to-day life, which is a conductor and which one is an insulator or bad conductor of heat. Okay, so this is about conductors and insulators. Now, since we know what are conductors and what are insulators, that is bad conductors of heat, let us talk about some applications, means their uses. So first application, handles of cooking vessels are made of insulators. So if you look at the cooking vessels, okay, kettles or cooking vessels in which you basically prepare your food or cook your food, the handles of those cooking vessels, they are made up of insulators, means bad conductor of heat, like plastic, okay, or any kind of bad conductor of heat. So why they are made up of? Because they will not allow the heat energy to pass through them. The temperature of the handles will remain low and we can hold them safely. So for our safety purpose, generally the handles of the cooking vessels are made up of bad conductor of heat. Okay, second one, cooking vessels. And what about the cooking vessels? With what they are made up of? So cooking vessels are made up of metals. You must have seen the kettles or the cooking vessels, they are generally made up of metals. Okay, steel, iron, aluminium, whatever it is. So why they are made up of metals? So that they can easily absorb the heat energy and can transfer this heat energy to the food which is to be cooked. So because if you will use a bad conductor of heat, means the whole cooking vessel is made up of bad conductor of heat. So first of all, it will not going to allow the transfer of heat energy. When the heat energy will not going to transfer to the food, the food will not able to get cooked. So for that process, cooking vessels should be made up of good conductor of heat, but the handles which you have to hold, okay, of the cooking vessels which you have to hold, that has to be made up of bad conductor of heat or insulators. Then example is ice boxes. You must have seen ice boxes, those people who are selling ice creams, they carry the ice creams in the boxes, those are known as ice boxes. They are made up of double layer or double walled containers. So why they are having double wall? Because two walls are there and between the two walls some gap has been left. So what is the use of that gap? In that gap air is present and we know that air is a bad conductor of heat. So that air will not allow the heat energy from outside to enter inside the box. So that is why these ice box have double wall layer. Similarly, if you take example of your quilts, your blankets, your cartons, they are made up of some fluffy material in which air is filled. Again, the same reason will be there. That air will not allow the heat energy of our body to go out and your body temperature will remain high. So it will help you to prevent from cold. So this is how different conductors and insulators are there from day-to-day life, which are useful for us. Now one more application is there about false ceiling. So nowadays false ceiling is very common in your houses, in which this false ceiling is generally made up of plaster of Paris. Okay, it is made up of plaster of Paris, which provides a layer of air between two ceilings. So basically there is one original ceiling and with the help of a plaster of Paris they build another ceiling below that, and between the two ceilings there is some gap between them, and in that gap what is present? Air is present again. Now this air which keeps the room warm during winter and it will help for making the room cool during summer. So what happens during the winter season, when the temperature is very low outside and the room temperature is a little bit higher, so the heat energy from the room wants to go out, because we know that heat energy travels from higher temperature towards lower temperature. So when the heat energy wants to go out from the ceiling, there is some false ceiling is there. Now in that process of false ceiling, some gap is there between the two ceilings, and in this gap air is present. So this air will not allow the heat energy from your room to go out, because it will prevent the flow of heat energy, and this is how the room remains warm as compared to the outside temperature. But in summer season the things takes place in opposite manner. Outside the temperature becomes very hot, but inside your room as compared to outside the temperature is little bit cool. So again the heat energy from outside wants to come inside, and through the ceiling also, because your ceiling absorbs the heat energy directly from the sun, so it wants to enter inside your room. So when it is trying to enter inside your room, again between the two ceilings there is some air is present, which will avoid or which will prevent the flow of heat energy from outside to inside. And this is how you can say that false ceiling helps to regulate or maintain the temperature of the room according to the season. So during summer season the room remains cool, and during winter season it remains warm. So these are some different examples. You can take some other examples from your day-to-day life, with the help of which you can know what are the different applications of conductors and insulators. So this is about conduction process. So in the next class we will going to talk about convection and radiation and some of their uses also. So till here it is your duty to study how transfer of heat energy takes place, what is the process of conduction, what are the different conductors and insulators, their examples, and then the applications based on conductors and insulators. So you have to learn them thoroughly. Okay, thank you everyone.